Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Plan B Success. Yet again, like every 4 years, as I sat listening to the 46th US President Joe Biden's inaugural address, whose theme, by the way, was unity, I couldn't help reflecting back on several others from the past. And one thing seems constant in all these speeches, that we are going through trying times and we need to work hard and together to ensure a better tomorrow. As I sat there listening, I reflected back on world politics during my years on the planet here. From Indira Gandhi to Modi, from Nelson Mandela to Gorbachev, from Bush Sr. and Jr. to Trump and now Biden, and so many other world leaders of our times. One thing central to all these times is that the world and various nations comprising it are always in a state of trying to exist and grow apprehensive of the then times and focus on working for a better tomorrow for our children. There are wars and other events, man-made and otherwise, that we are battling at any given point in time. In short, the happenings around the world never changed much. It's a repetition of the times. Any given decade or couple of years, just the players are perhaps different. Now, think about the so-called superpowers and the third world, who in fact are perhaps a few decades behind the advanced world. What happens in the advanced world eventually happens there, albeit a few decades or years later. We see that in business, finance, health, or any sphere you can think of. Talk about China, and they are running a parallel ecosystem with the rest of the world. And even when I reflect back on my life's experiences, be it about business, entertainment, etc., what we see is repetition from time to time. I'm not saying that's an issue, just that perhaps it's just so since we have new generations being born and growing all the time, and they need to go through what you and I have perhaps been through already. Take movies, for example. How many times have you seen that love story angle played again and again? Characters and scenes may be different, locations may be different, but the central theme is the same. But then, there was also the very first time you experienced it. Remember the exhilaration of that first experience? There's a first time for everything. And there's fear, the aspect of being unsure, yet the excitement of trying something new. And with that exhilaration comes euphoria once you try it out successfully. It's often said that a rich and well-lived life is one where you accumulate new experiences. While you may be content repeating your days and weekends with every passing week, a slight twist from the ordinary could mean the difference between growing, living, and just existing. Trying something new, visiting new places, doing something you haven't previously experienced, work the adrenaline, and have a boosting effect on your psychology. Adventure doesn't mean going out of town. It could exist right around the corner. And why do you think that memory of the very first time you tried something still remains so fresh in your mind? Because when you do something the first time, you put your entire consciousness and being into it, and time tends to slow down as you experience the moment. But once you have done something again and again, and the sheen of that first try withers away, it's just another repetition, and your attention doesn't hold as before. You still end up doing it well enough without as much attention. Perhaps that's why we have become immune to all the repetition that I discussed at the beginning. It ends up either boring us or we become indifferent. Then how do we ensure that we bring the zest back in what we do and experience, though it's been done for years? By ensuring we do it, but try to do it a little bit differently with change and renewal of the expected results. Yes, it's possible. And that's where creativity and innovation take the crown. Repetition is not bad after all. It's what ensures we build expertise. Add a twist of creativity and you have something way better than what you started off with the first time. Many of the repetitions that we execute in our daily life turn into habits. And we are creatures of habit that allows us to do these repetitive activities flawlessly. Here's the secret. Repetition breeds habits, and these habits are needed to allow you the mental space to embrace creativity and innovate on things that you truly want to transform. Innovation doesn't have to be path-breaking all the time. It could be as subtle as repeating something but improving it little by little. Repetition is very powerful. While it helps build expertise, it also is a way of maintenance. All the aspects that we discussed in the world are maintenance too. The world seems to be always focused on working hard to make a better tomorrow. Yes, that's repetition and maintenance. You may argue that politicians hold on to what is old and familiar since that's what everyone recognizes. And any message that starts there and takes one to tomorrow is the most effective. Yes, but isn't that what we find in all realms of society? Repetition and innovation are intertwined with each other. They require each other and cause each other as well. And with a changing world, repetition also gives different results, albeit with small incremental changes. Repetition allows you to look away from the obvious and seek out nuances, thus motivating you to more actively observe the results, in anticipation of what to expect, yet looking out for the changes that are unexpected. Repetition can be a new experience each time too, not just for the subtle changes, but also due to the fact that you are more informed and a different person with each repetition, with different expectations from your learning. The best part? Repetition is a practice that smooths out the flow, thus improving your craft and the end results. Repetition is the norm, but it doesn't have to be boring. However, the only way to achieve that is by being attentive even when repeating things. Being conscious, attentive, and deliberate by choice when repeating ensures you see and experience things differently. Perhaps the same results, but differently. Hey, I hope you liked that episode. Please do check out Plan B Success Podcast on your favorite listening platforms. It's also available on www.planb.live. If you're looking to learn how to podcast and learn everything there is to ideate, create, launch, and monetize a podcast, do get in touch through the website www.planb.live, and I'll be more than happy to help. Thank you very much.